there were actually, like, leadership zombies that were intelligent to a degree and could control and, like, direct other zombies. Like, they had a hierarchical system and a measure of intelligence that remained. Also, there was a zombie tiger. So, it is now October, and October, as you might know, is the season of spoopiness.
My favorite season.
Best season of all. You get all the spoops and the scares. And so, we are going to do like a little bit of a mini-series for October where we're going to be talking about some standardized monsters that you run across in both video games and in tabletop games, and asking, should we? Basically, is this a good monster, or does it need a rework to some degree? What do we like about it? What do we not? And so, just
keeping in mind, these are our general opinions. These are not like a hard and fast like.
Oh no, we are the authority on this.
Oh, sorry, right. We're the authority. This is the now forever. What you should think of these things.
This is now the opinion. There is no other. Don't at me, bro. So anyway, on the first episode, I thought we would take one of the classics, which is zombies. And no, I'm not just talking about the Cranberry song. We are... sorry. Zombies have been a part of the cultural zeitgeist for a very, very long time. Really from, like, Night of the Living Dead times.
Yeah, they've been presented in quite a few ways, but generally speaking, it's very similar.
Yes, and there are a lot of, like, older cultural references to something akin to it, but probably the more culturally relevant thing that we think of is, like, the George Romero sort of zombies in the mall, just, like, shambling around.
That's like the Walking Dead type zombie.
The Walking Dead type zombie, the Dead Rising kind of zombie when you go to the Willamette Mall, that kind of thing, yeah. Not the only kind, mind you. The shambling zombie is pretty typical. But if anyone has ever played something akin to, like, either Dying Light, or if you've ever seen, World War Z, or, 28 Days Later, you'll know that the idea of, like, the undead can also be a really fast and violent kind of zombie.
Yeah, I Am Legend wasn't quite zombies, but also was pretty much zombies.
Also, for that matter, Last of Us. Now, technically, they weren't zombies. They had just gotten their brains infested with the cordyceps fungus.
Basically a zombie.
It kind of is. I think it's only that they didn't die and come back to life. Their mind just got, like, taken over by another entity. But they will run at you. They will charge at you, and while you become a living mushroom. So that's fun.
Perfect.
But at any rate, the ones that you've probably encountered, if you're familiar with most games, and I think D&D is actually a good example of this, are going to be the fairly slow, meandering, nigh unkillable creatures that insist on trying to wreck your day and eat your brains.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brains.
Delicious brains. So the question is, coming up against a zombie, does it really strike any kind of fear into the hearts of the players?
Singular zombie?
Well, I mean, a singular zombie, let's go with that to start. Yeah, you just encountered the one zombie.
Not unless it's a really big zombie.
It's one of those specialty zombies.
Like, if you've got a zombie, like, dragon, that might be terrifying.
Yeah. I don't like zombie dragons. They're scary.
Usually you don't see zombie dragons either.
That's true. Oh yeah, they had a zombie dragon in Game of Thrones. The White Walkers made one of the dragons into a zombie.
Yeah, I feel like in D&D, if you're gonna see like a undead dragon, it's usually like a Dracolich.
Sure.
But now I would like to see a zombie dragon appear.
Yeah, zombie dragons would be cool. I don't know how you kill them. Usually, I think that you take the zombie, you have to shoot the brain in order to make the zombie stop moving. But, I guess
Well,
you
in
could try
like
to
video games and stuff, yeah. But in like D&D, you could just mutilate their undead corpse.
Doesn't fire work on zombies in...
I mean, fireworks on a lot of things. I
Yeah.
think traditionally old school D&D zombies had to be killed with like slashing damage.
Sure.
I don't remember if that holds true in current editions.
Sure. Yeah. Oh man, if only I could look up a zombie in D&D.
Yeah, skeletons and zombies used to have damage reduction. They may have resistance to damage now or not. I don't remember. I try not to use zombies like as a staple point in games.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that you figure that you might encounter them in crypts and other places of that
Sure,
nature.
I think
but-
if they're thematic
Sure.
and they make sense, they can be fun and you can use them for certain things, but like, kind of boring.
So, the typical zombie that you meet is not gonna be all that imposing. Like, they have an army. I'm just looking at D&D right now for zombies. They're considered to be medium undead, neutral evil. I guess they don't have any kind of specific malicious intent or agenda. But armor class 8, hit points 22, speed of 20, because obviously they're not going to be very fast. You could just outrun them if you're most characters. They have immunity to poison, and they don't, in languages, understands the languages it knew in life but can't speak it. Well, that's good. So you could try to reason with them, I guess. And of course they have dark vision, because everything does. The thing about it when it comes to their regeneration ability is called Undead Fortitude. So if damage reduces the zombie to 0 hit points, it must make a Constitution saving throw with a DC of 5 plus the damage taken, unless the damage is radiant or from a critical hit. On a success, the zombie drops to 1 hit point instead. So it's sort of like a get out of death free card of sorts.
Okay. They no longer have immunities or resistance to any kind of damage, aside from like poison. I mean, like physical damage.
Physical damage, they can still take physical damage. But yeah, if they actually make a Constitution saving throw and they would have died, they just come back. Unless, of course, it's like radiant damage, because obviously radiant damage is pretty great against the undead.
Yeah.
But,
I assume this is a one-time thing. You can't just do it multiple times.
It does not specify that. It literally just says if damage reduces the zombie to 0 hit points. So,
I'd like the one zombie that keeps getting up.
The thing about it is, though, is that it would make it harder for them to do the saving throw, because if it's 5 plus the damage taken, then and they've dropped to 1 hit point, they're going to have quite a high Constitution saving throw that they have to get through. But okay, so in general, yeah, the one zombie that's meandering towards Rick on the highway is not going to be that imposing. He'll figure that out. What really concerns people is when the horde comes for you. Or the herd, or the shoppers at the mall. The gaggle. The gaggle of shoppers at the mall have become zombies. And now they're coming for you. How do you deal with that? And is it even worth... Like, at that point, am I just trying to avoid the giant mesh of zombies? And with as slow as they are, am I really in trouble?
I guess that's the thing. Like, it depends on your, like, area you're in.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're out, like, in a field, and it's just a field full of zombies, it's like, I guess I'm going somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those situational things. One zombie doesn't pose an issue, but a vast horde of zombies poses, like, an almost impenetrable issue. Right.
Right.
Which people would then avoid. So I think the trick is to put them in a situation where you can't avoid them, but you can't also engage them, like, head on.
Right.
So let's say you have to go through an underground tunnel or something like that.
Okay.
But it's like, this is a tunnel through the mountain. It's the only one, or else it's going to take you, like, you know, going over the freaking mountain in Lord of the Rings instead of taking the eagles. Like, you know?
Yeah.
You have to go this way because the other way would be, like, a week longer. And what you're doing is time sensitive.
Yeah.
So you go down the tunnel, and it's not jam-packed full of zombies, but there's quite a number of zombies down here milling about. And you could easily, like, kill them as you go, but you would get exhausted, and then you would get overrun by zombies.
Yeah. Things that you don't want to happen.
But you could find a way to, like, skirt around the pockets of them, perhaps, and make it a challenging scenario without being overwhelming.
Okay. That makes sense.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah, you have like a wall of zombies. That would be fun. You have just a zombie wall. I wish I could summon that.
This is how you protect your kingdom.
That's true. A zombie wall. This is what the necromancers do. I think this is why I always thought necromancers would be fun, because you just raise some zombies and just have them around. Just keep some zombies around. It's all good.
Just keep your friends close.
Especially the dead ones. Yeah, works out great. I think that the thing that always kept zombies from being too terrifying is the fact that they seem slow to react and slow to move. The things that usually end up getting to be more concerning is when they can run and they can climb. More like wights, I suppose. That kind of archetypal character. That concerns me. But the typical, like, just literally the Walking Dead type of zombie, I mean, at first, it's going to be disconcerting because, like, the dead are coming to eat you. But after you get away around that and you learn the rules of how you're supposed to take out a zombie, it never seemed like they had all that much trouble in most of these scenarios. Like, oh yeah, well we aim for the head or whatever, or you figure out the tactics. They're attracted to like bright lights or sounds, so you know how to like maneuver them or like lead them towards certain areas.
Yeah.
And they're not a very high functioning or thinking creature.
Yeah. I think if you wanted to mix up the formula for zombies, aside from like the area surroundings, like with the tunnel example, I think a way you could do that and make it interesting was have like 1 in every 10 or 1 in every 20 zombies retains a measure of its intellect, maybe?
Sure.
So maybe like 1 in every 10, 15 zombies is smart. Not like really smart, but
Sure.
like acting as like a group leader. So the other zombies kind of congregate to this one that's got this like spark of intelligence.
Sure.
And so maybe then what happens is you have groups of zombies between like 10 and 30 that congregate around this one, like pretty much an alpha zombie, and then that one acts as like a group leader.
Sure.
Kind of. They're not like, it's kind of like the alpha of a wolf pack. It's not smarter than the other ones, but it's maybe bigger and faster. So maybe it's got a higher challenge rating in the sense of like D&D. Maybe it's a little tougher, a little faster reflexes. But it also helps to like bolster the other ones. This is kind of I know Warhammer 40k had a rule similar to like Wraithguard. If they were within range of a Farseer, they would move faster.
Okay.
Because it gave them guidance essentially. Maybe you could do something like that where if they're within the range of this alpha zombie, perhaps they move 5 feet faster. They're like urged on by like the group collective.
Yeah. Have you ever watched a movie called Army of the Dead?
I think so.
Yeah. That was the more recent, like, Night of the Living Dead one that they did, where they had to break into the casino vault in Vegas before they dropped a giant bomb on it to destroy the walled-in city where all the zombies lived. And all the zombies were in this one area. They were just in Vegas, basically. They'd cordoned it off. They had put the giant container boxes around the city to quarantine them. And in the absence of people, there were actually, like, leadership zombies that were intelligent to a degree and could control and, like, direct other zombies. Like, they had a hierarchical system and a measure of intelligence that remained. Also, there was a zombie tiger. So there's that.
Zombie that can jump 20 feet.
Yes. And will eat your face off and enjoy it.
Perfect.
So there's that. But I think something like that definitely did raise the stakes, because then they're moving with purpose and conviction in a way that they previously hadn't been. It's the same thing of, like, in Walking Dead, they had the Whisperers, and those were, like, just people that wore, like, the masks of zombies and had learned how to, like, move them and direct them toward their enemies as, like, a giant herd that they built.
A cat.
A cat zombie?
Cat zombie. You're talking about tigers.
Oh, yeah. There's a zombie cat. Be afraid of it. The tail. There goes the tail. Should we bother using zombies as, like, our creepy crawly to fight against?
I think, yeah. Yeah, like, I'm not particularly fond of zombies, but if you want to use them in an interesting way and not just as a shambling mass of dead flesh that's not exciting, you can use them. But if you're just going to use them as, oh, here's some zombies, I think you can find better options.
Yeah, there's some changes that you could make to those to make them a little bit more interesting, and because I mean, we'll get into maybe some other undead or creepy crawlies later in the month, but you know, zombies have kind of become indicative of, like, yeah, if there's a lot of them, that's a problem that you have to just avoid, and if they're single ones, you just smack them in the head and you're good. But they have, maybe because we've been so inundated with it, with zombie, you know, media, that
Mania.
We've been so inundated with zombie media that they don't seem very threatening, like if we were to come across them ourselves. So, but, you know, we'll find out. So, zombies, I'm going to give 2 spoops out of 5 spoops.
Oh, we're doing a spoopy rating?
I guess, yeah, sure, why not? Well,
zombies.
Out of 5 spoops.
1 spoop for 1 zombie. 5 spoops for 50 or more.
For 50 or more? Okay, that's good. Quantity over quality is definitely a thing for zombies.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds good. So, and if you have like 20 zombies, that's like maybe 3 spoops.
It's like two spoops and a cup of sugar.
2 spoops? Yeah. 2 spoops of ice cream and zombies.